every day at her job, and then coming home and working even harder to look after her family. The only exception to that will be her summer holidays. If we didn't have a good stock of grub in the house when she came home for 2 weeks, about a week and a half into her holidays, we were going hungry because she would not go back to Food Land and buy grub. Not on her holidays, she'd say, I'm not going back there. It was the little things in life that gave Mom so much joy. Seeing a batch of homemade bread rolls and turn out good was the same as winning the lottery. Watching her children and her grandchildren enjoy one of her meals, her pies, or one of her famous desserts gave her the greatest satisfaction. When we go there for a meal, and she'd have the grandkids there, of course, they were always wondering what kind of dessert everyone had, because she used to make these great desserts. And she'd always act like, oh, sorry, Nan never got a chance to make a dessert today. Sorry about that, but anyway, you know, we got a good meal or whatever, and then she'd sneak out. And she'd come back and she'd have a pie, one that she'd do the kids like, a bunch of baked apple tarts. She probably had like 4 different desserts. And one of the things over the years was she used to make these baked apple tarts. And they were the best I ever. So the game became how many I could eat. And she would laugh. And I'd be stuffed like an egg. And that was before dessert started. But I'd say, no, we'll see how many we eat today. Now, mind you, each one of these had heavy cream on top. I think the record I had was 16. And that was after a full meal. And we used to stack up the little tin tray, and she would get the biggest kick out of it. As I mentioned earlier, Mom had the most gentle and meek soul. Most times, she wouldn't say, if she had a mouthful. However, she was no pushover, and she stood her ground when time required. And like I said, I tried her patience over the years, and I can't say I put her through a lot, but I did put her through a lot. Maybe I was a little idle, I had a lot of energy. I used to get in a little trouble in school. And there was a teacher one time who he just took it on himself to just really give me a hard time. Not saying it wasn't deserved all the time, but it got me by the hand. I remember coming home and telling Mom about it. She called into school and made the point to go in and have a meeting with this teacher. So she came in. Me and her teacher sat down in his classroom, and he said, now, Miss Slaney, he said, I'm going to start. And right out of nowhere, Mom said, no, sir, I'm going to start. And she told him, I know what Rob needs. You don't have to tell me that. He's idle. He has a lot of energy. There's times he gets in trouble. But she said, one thing Rodney's not is a lawyer. And she said, well, he told me that you're doing him. That has to stop. That will not be tolerated. Anyway, I want to stand up and do high fives and everything, but apparently this was a very serious conversation, so I just let it go on. But that was one of those times I can remember looking back and saying, wow, okay, she's not going to take it when she don't have to. Mom had many great qualities that I have seen over the years, but none more prominent than the strength and quiet determination that she showed and displayed while our family went through the struggle of childhood cancer. Not once, but twice. It was her unwavering resilience and gentle guidance that carried her two grandchildren and all her family through such a difficult time. Mom's greatest treasure were her three children. And through her love and support, we were all able to grow and flourish. However, like most mothers, she worried about each and every one of us from the time we were born up until 2 days ago. I used to say, Mom, you don't have to worry. She'd say, you'll understand one of these days when you get your own kids. And she was right. I do. Well, the first house I bought next door to Mom and Dad's. I'm a grown man now. I'm married. I probably got kids at the time. Anyhow, we just put a new patio on this house, and when you walked up the steps, it made like you couldn't stop it from making a boom sound. And Mom and Dad's bedroom was on this end of their house. So about 5 o'clock in the morning, one morning, I'm trying to get home under my own steam. I made it to as far as the bottom of these steps. And that's where as far as I got when I flopped over and made the biggest amount of noise. And I was there trying to get up. And I seen the light flick out on Mom and Dad's door. And the door opened up. And I heard a voice go, Rodney, is that you, dear? And I said, Mom, what are you doing up? She said, let the dog in. I said, no, I don't think so. But anyway, I managed to scramble up and get over the steps. And that's the way she was. As all three of her children embarked on their journeys in life, Mom continued to make sure that we had everything we needed. Most importantly, making sure we were well fed. Through our countless years in St. John's and going through university, all three of us would out of nowhere receive these care packages. All the meat we would need, all the food we would need, and a scattered envelope with a $20 bill. It was one of the most exciting things that we would always look forward to when we went to university. And as life progressed and we moved on, Mom and Dad made new friends and started to get back to their way of life. They had a great car playing group they used to hang around with, and they had so many memories. They used to get up to so many hijinks. If anybody's watching that screen and looking at pictures, there's a couple, I would say X-rated pictures on there. Watch it when you're going through. And you'll certainly see what I'm talking about. And they enjoyed every single minute with their friends, their children, their grandchildren. Most times enjoying simple things, like a game of cards with Karen and Pat, or Nikki and Sheldon. I couldn't stand cards, so I never got in them. I'd pick them up and say, let's go for a drive. We'll get a casino. And we go for a drive. Spending time with Karen and Pat in the summer, when they would go on their little adventures to different communities. Taking part in a good meal, and enjoying a flick on the slots. Keeping an eye on flyers, making sure Pat ran around St. John's and got all the deals. Especially carnation milk, but without it, no frills. I'm sure Pat must have had to fight for that sometimes. But he'd always send a pink. I got your mail for you. He makes on a symbol in the pink as to say, I got your infant milk or whatever. Mom will get the most joy out of that, laughing at those pictures. Sheldon, or should I say, oops, because I'm pretty sure he was a mistake. Or at least that's how I felt. He was the youngest in the family. He would enjoy times with Mom with just sitting and watching her shows. Young and the Restless was one of her favorites. And one of their traditions was sharing a little Christmas cheer on Christmas Eve. Mom never drank in her life. I don't know if she ever tasted beer. But every Christmas Eve, her and Sheldon would always have one drink of Tia Maria milk. And that was always their little tradition, and she always looked forward to it. Mom had 2 sons. And luckily for her feminine side, she was blessed with a daughter, Karen. Karen would spend endless hours with Mom, doing her hair, picking out fits to wear out, shopping, and enjoying the quiet and gentle conversations. Something that was not expected from me and Sheldon, obviously. Now, over the last little while, of course, Mom had some troubles. And as a boy, maturing into a man, I always had a sense of pride. And I would use the word toughness to say that I came from the top. But these past few months, watching Mom has taught me that she too had exceptional courage, strength, and toughness. This is a woman who broke her hip and for a week and a half was doing physiotherapy to walk again because we thought she had lost the use of her legs because of an infection. And she never once grimaced. She never once alluded to pain. And the whole time she had a broken hip and she was off walking. Just recently, after one of her scans, the doctor had come to me and said, I cannot believe she's not feeling pain with the way this cancer has progressed. And she never once complained of a day of pain. Over the past few days, we have truly gained an understanding of the extraordinary and respected person that Mom was. She never sought recognition or praise for any of her achievements or actions. To her, raising and caring for her family and all people around her was just a natural way of life. It was just who she was. She will be so proud of everybody gathering here tonight and the past few days to celebrate her life. But most importantly, and beyond that, she will be elated with the fact that her 3 children and her husband have the support and love of so many people to help them through this difficult time. It's hard to let go of a life well lived. However, it also deserves celebration. Mom, we will always celebrate your life and carry you with us in our hearts, minds, and conversations. You will always be remembered and celebrated as a loving and loyal wife, a gentle and wise mother, a proud grandmother, and an exceptional human being.